The second half of 2021 introduced us to a product that would change the IEM market forever. A product so influential that if it had never been released, an entire category of product might have still been viewed as a meme till this day. And of course, I'm talking about the planar IEM market and the absolutely game-changing 7Hz timeless. If you joined the community recently, you have no idea how influential the original timeless was. Before its release, planar IEMs were considered a meme, kind of. They were often hard to drive and had tuning that looked like... yeah. So when the timeless released with a tuning more like this, people went bananas. Many viewers bought the timeless and it became so popular so fast that many sci-fi brands took notice and they responded with flooding the market with even more planar IEMs, sparking what we now know as the Planar Wars. Planars competing against each other to claim the title of the King of Planar away from the 7Hz timeless. But all that aside, long story short, it led up to today where planar IEMs are now a part of the norm. But without the release of the timeless, we could have had a way different looking market today. And now, with all the weight of its predecessors on its shoulders, does the timeless 2 live up? Let's jump into it. The Timeless 2, much like the original, is also a single planar IEM, though the planar used in the Timeless 2 is slightly bit bigger than the one used in the Timeless. The build is metal with a textured faceplate and 2-pin connector instead of MMCX like the original, all for the price of $229 USD. Accessories include a rather good quality cable, several sets of ear tips, a metal puck-style carrying case, and 4 different tuning nozzles, all of which have very interesting shape, you can say. And now let's talk about the sound. How good is the Timeless 2? Well, for start, we do carry it on Hangout.audio, our online retail store, which means it is approved by Critical, so you know it's good. But how good? The tuning of the Timeless 2 varies quite a bit with each nozzle, which is a good thing. Normally, tuning nozzles in IEMs are pretty forgettable. It's not the case here. So let's now go over them one by one. First, let's talk about the gold flower nozzle. It is the nozzle that comes out of the box with the Timeless 2 and is the one that sounds the most similar to the original Timeless. The only difference that I could detect was the Timeless 2 has ever so slightly smoother treble than the original. It sounds less peaky and just a bit more refined, but I have to say there's a very small difference. Functionally, the gold flower nozzle sounds pretty much near identical to the original Timeless. For those who are unfamiliar with how the Timeless sound, it is a V-shaped IEM, which means it has elevated bass, it has elevated treble, and in this case also elevated upper mid-range. So it's a very fun and contrasty kind of signature. Now let's move on to the silver flower nozzle, and this one has a tamer upper mid-range when compared to the gold flower nozzle, which makes the silver flower sound even more V-shaped. The bass and treble both sound more prominent here, so if you like a more fun sound, the silver nozzle is the most fun out of the 4. Though I have to say, if you're treble sensitive, the silver nozzle does have the most spicy treble as well. Next is the gold round nozzle, and this one has a bit of elevated upper mid-range and has the least amount of treble out of all the 4 nozzles, which leads to the gold round nozzle to sound the most vocal-centric and has the most correct timbre. And lastly, the silver round nozzle, which is basically the gold round nozzle but with a bit more treble. So it sounds like it has a bit more energy, maybe a bit more clarity, but functionally very similar experience to the gold round. In summary, the 4 tuning options available in the Timeless 2 all sound pretty good. My favorite personally is the silver round, followed closely by the golden flower. I find those 2 nozzles to be the most well proportioned out of the 4. And to touch on the technical performance of the Timeless 2 really quickly, I find it to be very similar to the original Timeless, which is to say, very solid for the price. So what's the verdict then? Why should you get the Timeless 2 over the original Timeless? Well, for me, the Timeless 2 in sound performance is very similar to the original Timeless. The upgrade you get in the Timeless 2 comes more in the form of features like the different tuning nozzles, that are all viable. You get better cables, you get cooler design for the faceplate, if you will, and most importantly, you get 2-pin instead of MMCX. Now, is that worth the $30 upcharge from the original timeless? That's up to you and how much you value the extra features and accessories. Now for the more general shoulds and shouldn'ts, why you should or shouldn't buy the Timeless 2. Let's start with the should. Number 1, buy the Timeless 2 if you like a fun, well-done V-shape style tuning, and number 2, you like an IEM that maximizes the technical performance for the price. The Timeless 2 is one of those for the price that it's at. Number 3, if you enjoy multiple tuning options that are, again, all viable. And number 4, if you are a modder, these interchangeable nozzles does allow you the opportunity to add your own filters, foams, etc, etc. And don't buy the Timeless 2 if 1, you are sensitive to upper mid-range and treble elevation. In all configuration of the Timeless 2, either one or both of these are boosted, so if you're sensitive, stay away. A quick side note here, if you're on the opposite end of this, which means you love more treble, then I would suggest maybe going for the S12 Pro, another planar IEM that's tuned very similar to the Timeless 2, but has just that much more treble. Number 2, if you want a more neutral tuning, the Timeless 2 is definitely not that, but if you want that at a similar price point, then I suggest you try out the Kiwi Ears KE4. And lastly, number 3, the shell shape might be a bit awkward for some of you guys out there, though it is comfortable for me because the part that actually touches your ear is rather small and should fit most ears. It's the circular faceplate that might be a problem for some, so if you can, I definitely urge you to try it out first. But hey, that's just my one man's opinion on the new 7Hz Timeless 2. If you want to form your own opinion, why not come down to the Hangout? We're located at 200 South Bridge Road, level 1 in Chinatown. Come on down, ask for the Timeless 2, and compare it to the other planars we have in store. However, if you're not fortunate enough to be in Singapore, but you feel like the Timeless 2 is the IEM for you, why not consider buying from us at Hangout.audio or online retail store. We ship globally and for free on orders over $30. And with all that being said, remember friends, if it's not on the list, it doesn't exist. See you next week.